As of the time of this video, 48 seasons of the hit show Survivor have aired, with seasons 49 and 50 coming within the next year. So it is time to update our spoiler-free rankings for every season of Survivor. Now, for those of you who haven't seen every season, you can treat this video as a guide as to what to watch and what to avoid. Nothing will be spoiled with the exception of 2 seasons, and even then, I'll let you know when we reach those. For this video, I had you all fill out a survey I posted on YouTube, and this year featured the most respondees by far, with almost 4,000. Thank you. So basically, you all rank the seasons, and the words you hear in this video are my thoughts on said seasons. Now, with that explanation out of the way, let's start with the bottom of the barrel. Number 48. Season 5 Survivor Thailand seems promising on its face. The location of Thailand is beautiful and unique, plus we just came off the heels of a show-defining season where the strategy took a big step forward in season 4. But season 5, it regresses in that department, and the cast is essentially trash. How did Survivor screw up something they had done so well for the past 4 seasons? I have no idea. It's so bad that some fans theorize that this season was actually filmed years prior and Survivor shelved it and aired it later as to not tarnish the growing franchise so soon. And after the events of the pre-merge, I kind of understand why, but it's just a rumor. Or is it? This season is straight up uncomfortable at times, and when it isn't, it's just boring. Skip it and don't look back. Survivor Thailand scores a whopping negative 37.0. Number 47, season 39, Survivor Island of the Idols would be the absolute worst season if it were up to me. I say this year after year and I stand behind it. Thailand had some uncomfortable moments, but Island of the Idols, in my opinion, cranks that up to the point that you're going to be baffled when watching it. Like, how did they let this go on this long? Some will defend this season, and to that I say the issues of the season are so big and so gross, it's like a turd in my cereal bowl. No matter how small the turd is in my cereal bowl, I don't want to eat that cereal anymore, even if you take the turd out. Unfortunately, this does affect Survivor as the show shies away from villains for at least the next 6 seasons, and the show also screws up by adding on a twist to this season that hampers a lot of players' games. Add on a mostly lackluster cast, and you get another hot trash season. Also, it's going to spoil the results of at least 3 seasons minimum with the 2 players they have returning. Survivor Island of the Idols scores a negative 26.2. Number 46. Survivor 41 is what you get when you come off the heels of an all-winter season with a year-long break in between due to COVID, causing the fan base to have higher hopes than before. Survivor gave us Survivor 41, a show that starts off with Jeff saying, "Screw you all, I'm making it more about me. I'm going to talk to the camera like you're a bunch of children. I'm going to change phrases I've been saying for 40 seasons and act like it's for the greater good of mankind. Every episode will be stuffed to the brim with advantages and nonsense and politics." Now, Jeff does later admit fault for the screw up, but never on the show itself. The show ushers in the quote unquote new era that many fans now dub the budget era, as the show went from 39 days down to 26. Fun. A lot of the season felt like a slap in the face to so many fans, and I feel bad for the cast as they're not bad. They just got stuck with the nonsense and a bad job by the editors to tell a coherent, satisfying story. Some online will say this season is underrated and better than the all-winter season. Okay, sure buddy, sure. Survivor 41 scores a 0.04. Number 45, season 24 One World does have some uncomfortable moments, though none as egregious. And on top of that, it's just boring top to bottom. The twist of One World itself is cool, with 2 tribes living on one beach while competing with each other. But they quickly abandon this idea after only a few episodes, and from there, it only gets worse and worse. Seriously, the first 4 episodes of this season are Gabon levels of messy, but then the season tanks and it gets so boring. I almost fell asleep during episode 9. The predictability is horrible, and the casting is obviously filled with models that you wonder if they've ever even seen the show before they played. No seasons are spoiled by this one, so you can watch it, but why would you? Even those who have watched it want their time back. Survivor One World scores a 0.9. Do you want to tell me what videos I should make? Well, the paying patrons on Patreon do this by selecting 3 to 8 videos every month. You can too. The link to Patreon is in the description, and I sincerely thank you for supporting us and keeping this channel going. Now let's slide into the next part of this rankings I am calling It's Okay, I guess. Number 44, season 22 Redemption Island is all about the 2 returnees they bring back going head to head in a glorious strategic battle for who is the best, and the show does everything in its power to make this head to head battle lame, to the point where you have to ask, if the season was even designed with this head-to-head battle in mind. Them being here spoils 4 different seasons results, so keep that in mind as well. Oh, and there are other players on the season, but they're not that important. And I haven't even mentioned the said Redemption Island twist that upset many fans by adding in a mechanic that saw voted off players have a chance to get back into the game due simply to challenges. It sounds okay, and I think the idea definitely is, but in execution, it ate up a lot of screen time each episode to the detriment of the entire season story. In my opinion, there's only one player who makes the season worth watching out of a cast of 18. Yeah. Survivor Redemption Island scores a 23.7. Number 43, Season 36 Ghost Island has such a cool premise. Make an island where old advantages and idols that were misplayed are back and looking for redemption. Can these new players go to Ghost Island, acquire these advantages, and reverse the curse, or will they fall victim to it? It's a great idea. It's a fun idea, but the execution is lackluster and the cast is boring. Seriously, I remember 4 people from the season, and one of them has now become infamous for cheating on his baby mama with the winner of a different season of the show. The storytelling is so bad, and Ghost Island, the twist itself, can be optioned out by the players. I mean, what's the point at that point? So much fun! Survivor Ghost Island scores a 29.1. Number 42, Season 21 Survivor Nicaragua is in a similar position to Survivor 41. They both come hot off the heels of a beloved returnee season, but in their own way, they falter. Somehow the show gets visually uglier, has a cast full of models who seemingly don't know how to play Survivor, and after a while, most fans accept that this season is kind of whatever. It's a pretty good season until about 2/3 of the way in when it just tanks hard. What happens when you have 20-year-olds face off against 40-year-olds in challenges? Gee, I have no idea. Nothing offensive and nothing horrible, but it's like a movie you see once and go, yeah, I mean, that was fine. It's okay if I don't ever see it again. Survivor Nicaragua scores a 35.3. Number 41, Season 30 Worlds Apart is polarizing. It features a cast of villains who are petty, mean, and sometimes goofy. Frankly, it hits the sweet spot for me, but I think the bullying that happens of one player is what does this one in for so many and why it keeps landing so low on this ranking year after year. The actual theme of the season is splitting up everyone based on whether they're a white-collar worker, a blue-collar worker, or a hippie. It's not a bad idea, but after a while, it's kind of a non-factor, and the story eventually becomes all about whether you like one player or not. I mean, I really like it, but I totally get why this one isn't for everyone. Survivor Worlds Apart scores a 40.5. Number 40, Survivor 48 is a narrative mess, the likes we have not seen since, well, Survivor 41 in my opinion. It's hard to say why without spoiling, so tune into the winner rankings where I will dive deeper on that. But it's safe to say that the show had some clear favorites, and the boot order made all the good drama leave far too early, resulting in a cast that loved the idea of making sure their hands were warm for the winter. And they filmed this in the summer. One player makes this season for me, and I didn't even bring him back for Survivor 50. For shame, Survivor. For shame. Survivor 48 scores a 40.6. Number 39, Season 23 South Pacific takes the Redemption Island formula of the prior season and does it again. Only this time, the cast is much improved and comes to play, and the returnees add a lot more to the watchability of the season than they did in Season 22. Only one season's end result will be spoiled. However, this season gets dark in a way that might leave some viewers uncomfortable and basically shatters the fun reputation of one returnee. The Redemption Island twist actually factors into the story and gameplay this time in a positive manner that will have you surprised, and frankly, this season has high highs and low lows, but at least it's interesting, and that is a big improvement over the prior 2 seasons it followed. Survivor South Pacific scores a 45.4. Number 38, Season 26 Kara Moen, aka Fans vs. Favorites 2, asked the question we were all wondering after the first time they did this twist. What if the fans were a bunch of recruits, and what if the favorites were a bunch of returning people we didn't really want to see again, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 of them? Well, you get a season that at times is brilliant and at other times is horrendous. It's a tale of 2 seasons in a sense, as the pre-merge can be dark, but the post-merge, it's a lot of fun. I find it to be an enjoyable watch. Seriously, an underrated gem. But like with Worlds Apart, I have specific taste. I get why people don't like this season. This is the final season of the Dark Ages of the show, and it's an end cap for a lot of players who played in the Dark Ages. However, with so many returnees, I would say watch seasons 22 through 25 first before letting this spoil you. Survivor Kara Moen scores a 46.9. Number 37, season 35, Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers should not be this low. I mean, it is, and that's in large part due to a surprise twist that no one, not us, and definitely not the players, saw coming, that appears on its face to be completely unfair and completely changes the result of this season. No spoilers, of course, but once it happens, you're gonna be like, oh, yeah, no, I get what you mean. What could have been just an average season of Survivor dips a bit due to that one production blunder that to this day, Jeff still defends. But other than that, the theme of Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers just feels uninspired. And while there are some standouts on the cast, it's fine. Survivor, Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers, I mean, say that 3 times fast, scores a 47.1. Number 36, season 14 Fiji is so boring. Truly, nothing interesting this season happens until the very end. This is a season that needs to move down in my mind, and yet it scored better than last year. Am I going crazy? There are maybe 3 interesting players out of the entire 19-player cast, and even then, I mean, this season is predictable and dull, solely due to a cast of recruits who seemingly had never watched the show before, and I bet the 20th player they were supposed to have on, but dropped right before they filmed, could have single-handedly made a better season than what we saw here, and I don't even know her. Survivor Fiji scores a 47.2. Now we move on to the part of this list I call good, but not great. Number 35, season 34 Game Changers asked the question, what if our season had half returning players who are truly game changers and half returning players who played Survivor before and most people don't remember them? Wow, what a horrible idea. I mean, the first half of the season is fun, but the back end is a slog due to this poor casting choice. Rumor is that in a later season, a player rants to Jeff for multiple hours on end about how the season was a missed opportunity, and in my opinion, they would have just been better off making a Fans vs. Favorites 3 or Blood vs. Water 3 rather than doing this nonsensical twist with this cast. This season brings a new format to Final Tribal Council that some love and some hate and most just don't care about, and there are advantages galore. This season kind of sets the stage for Survivor to just flood the show with advantages, which is disappointing. Survivor Game Changer scores a 52.7. Number 34, season 11 Guatemala goes to an amazing location. I love it. I mean, clearly everyone is suffering when living there, but I mean, I'm not there. I'm sitting on my couch watching TV. It's fun to watch. The cast here is solid, and the 2 returning players from season 10 add a lot to the story being told. It can be fun, but unfortunately, the pre-merge slogs and the storytelling is lackluster, all things considered. The challenges eat up way too much screen time. The tribe swap still confuses me, and I think I need to pull out a whiteboard to understand it. But at least I know who is definitely not an NFL quarterback. No, he's just a simple landscaper. This season also introduces advantages and challenges and hidden immunity idols. Game-changing, but not super entertaining. Survivor Guatemala scores a 55.1. Number 33, Survivor 44 was way overhyped 2 years ago, and wow, how it has fallen into its appropriate spot and can fall further for all I care. I believe Survivor 45, 46, and 47 showed us what good budget era seasons could be, and now everyone sees Survivor 44 for what it actually is, incredibly average. I mean, it's okay. It has an okay cast of characters that kind of top heavy. Is the end result utterly predictable? Yeah. Are there any jaw-dropping moments? No. Was it all overly hyped by Jeff in the preseason as some sort of gold standard season? Very much so. Survivor 44 is just okay to me, but that's because I desire unpredictableness in my seasons, and that is not at all on display here. Survivor 44 scores a 55.1. Number 32, like the past season, Survivor 42 has taken a hard fall these past years after people saw what good budget era seasons look like. It has all the same issues as Survivor 41 in terms of production, twists, and Jeff making the show more about himself. But the show clearly, this season specifically, did a massive edit overhaul after the massive fan backlash of season 41 because anything audiences hated in 41 seemed to have been minimized a ton here, and anything we liked, they tried to highlight. Seasons are filmed back to back, so they had no idea when they were filming 41 it would be hated so much. So of course they filmed 42 the same exact way, right? But the editing of 42 somehow is massively different. I think Survivor 42 would have been a hot mess without fan backlash, and due to the re-edit, they turned out a solid season of the show that I think is now fairly ranked. Survivor 42 scores a 56.4. Number 31, season 38, Edge of Extinction takes the Redemption Island idea and puts it on steroids and makes it a secret from the players. What if all those people who got voted off live on one island together and get 2 shots to get back in the game? It's an idea that needed more screen time in my opinion, as the episodes are too short for the nonsense on display, but man oh man is this season ranked way too low. Some seasons are best on the first time being watched and others are better the second time through. This is a season that is much better on a rewatch in my opinion. After the first time you're gonna be like, what the heck did I just witness? But that second time through is like, holy crap, the storytelling actually works in a weird way. Mind you, there are 4 returning players here that will spoil their respective seasons, and I wouldn't recommend this as anyone's first season. It's just for those who want something a little different and love movies with a good twist. Survivor Edge of Extinction scores a 56.5. Number 30, Survivor 43 takes everything wrong about the new era of Survivor up to that point and attempts to fix it. They somewhat tone down the excessive advantages. They try to have some fun in the storytelling. Politics being a main motivator for players are basically gone. And this season has some straight up jaw-dropping, what the heck just happened strategic moves. So, how did it fall this low? Well, many people don't like how the story is being told. It felt a bit like Survivor 41 in that aspect, and it really doesn't help when the preview for this season promised us a good villain, and then the actual show decides to backtrack and re-edit said villain into a hero of sorts. Island of the Isles is so bad. Did I mention that? Because it really messed up the show for a good long while. This is a solid season though, and I wish it were higher on this list, but Survivor 43 scores a 57.3. Number 29, Season 19 Samoa rides or dies on one player, possibly the most dynamic player of all time, I must admit. But your thoughts on them will shape your feelings on this season. There's just no way around it. It's like a high school football team. You're watching them, they have a star running back. You know who's going to be handed the ball, but you always look forward to the next play because you're like, well, what are they going to do with it? In some ways, I think this is the perfect season to start fans off with, as it shows exactly what Survivor is all about, but in other ways, it could screw them up forever and hope for something else. Either way, it's amazing. Survivor goes to Samoa. The location is pretty, but it's quickly overshadowed by some of the wildest storytelling we've ever seen that almost feels like a prequel to season 20. I love it, but I get why others don't. This is a top 5 season for myself. Survivor Samoa scores a 63.3. Number 28, Season 8 All-Stars is the climax to the old school era of this show. A cast of 18 returning players from the biggest social experiment ever come back, and wow, they're so salty. I mean, the first 7 seasons, minus Thailand, were fun. All-Star starts that way. I mean, it's fun, but just like as the show goes on, it gets darker and darker and more depressing, and like it doesn't stop raining, and you're like, man, this definitely a season of Survivor. With that being said, you're like, how is this not lower on the list? Well, there is one redeeming aspect, and for many people, that redeeming aspect saves this season. All-Stars is personal, it's cruel, and so many people love it. Survivor All-Stars scores a 68.7, and now we move on to the next part of this list. It's like pizza. Number 27, finally, Survivor 45. With it, we get a legitimately good budget era Survivor season, with the move from 42 to 65 minutes per episode without commercials, better twists, better storytelling, and politics in the rearview mirror. Survivor became good again with season 45. It's something we hadn't seen in a few years at that point. There is one returnee here from season 44, but they're so inconsequential in season 44 that you literally don't need to see that season. You're not going to get spoiled. Survivor 45 is good, it's fun, and it isn't perfect, but I recommend it. I like it. I think it should be a little higher in this list. Survivor 45 scores a 73.9. Number 26, season 4 Marquesas was filmed in the wake of 9/11, and boy, could you tell. Survivor had planned to shoot in the country of Jordan for season 4, but then were forced to pivot hard to a location they were clearly not ready for, and they had to stay on the same TV schedule. And in some ways, it showed. Marquesas is beautiful, but sometimes you can see how this is clearly someone's private island, and the shortened time to put together this season affects the overall production and story being told by the edit. It ain't bad though. The cast is fun, and those first 7 episodes are wild, but the second half is kind of slow, and after a while, this location really eats up everyone in a way the show had not planned for. Thankfully, some big strategic moves take place that the show had not seen up to this point, and man oh man, does it shape Survivor for the better. Overall, Survivor Marquesas scores a 74.3. Number 25, Season 10 Palau is amazing. The first time you watch it, I probably should have said that before making such a bold declaration. In fact, the first time you watch it, you might even rank it in your top 10 or top 5. That's right, it's that good the first time. Survivor is in beautiful Palau. The war theme permeates everything. The challenges are fun to watch, and the strategy on display is brand new in so many cases. So many things are introduced here that will impact the show for years and years to come. However, this doesn't hold up nearly as well on a rewatch. Once the surprise of everything new is gone, Palau becomes kind of a slog. So is it worth watching? Absolutely. The first time. It's a great binge watch. Survivor Palau scores a 74.8. Number 24, Season 2, The Australian Outback is what happens when Survivor has to follow up their surprise hit in Borneo with more money than they know what to do with. Seriously, they are flush with cash, and the production takes a massive step up from Borneo as a result. However, with Survivor being so monstrously popular at the time, you can kind of tell the cast is playing it up for America after seeing what audiences thought of some of the players the prior season, and kind of makes it not as dynamic as Borneo. The Australian Outback is a unique setting, and the story being told here is very entertaining for the first 2/3 of the season. It's a direct sequel to a Survivor season in so many ways, and about half of this cast will return for later seasons. Survivor The Australian Outback scores a 76.0. Number 23, Season 9 Vanuatu is underrated. Even at this spot on the list, it should be so much higher. The volcanic setting is wonderful, and like Survivor 41 in Nicaragua, it comes hot off the heels of a huge returning season, but in this case, it actually delivers after episode 4. The first 4 episodes, I admit, are a bit boring, and I see why many people quit the show before they get to episode 5, but if you can make it to episode 5 and the literal earth-shaking tribe swap happens, this season only gets better and better until it climaxes at Final Tribal in a way that clearly annoys the host of the show, but has us as an audience laughing our butts off. It's so good. Survivor Vanuatu scores a 78.2, but it is amazing and it demands a watch by everyone. I will not rest until this season is in the top 15. Number 22, Season 3 Africa takes what Survivor did so well in its first 2 seasons and goes even harder on the survival aspects. This season by far has to be the hardest one when it comes to pure survival. Do the players have a clean water source? No. Do they have shade? Not really. Are there literal lions circling their camp at night trying to eat them? Yes. Does the show again have so much money that they up their game? In my opinion, yeah, that's the best part. Combine that with an eclectic cast of characters, a game-changing twist, a lot of strategic decisions made solely for personal reasons, and you have one compelling season of Survivor that is fun on a rewatch. Survivor Africa scores an 80.6. Number 21, Season 6 The Amazon tries to correct the mistakes of the horrendous Season 5 Thailand by just being fun. I know, what a concept. The fun of this season's twist, men versus women, it doesn't age as well as you think because they really lean into that early 2000s version of men versus women, almost reality TV-esque in a weird way, but the show is having fun and so are the players. And if you buy into it, you're going to have fun too. Not only is it unpredictable, but there are massive strides made this season in the strategy department, and heck, they're in the flippin' Amazon. What an iconic location. One player from the season will go on to create a podcasting empire that no doubt affects how people rank the season, but at least that player was fun to watch, and their podcasts are pretty sweet. Survivor The Amazon scores an 80.7. Number 20, Season 29 San Juan del Sur is a season I have dunked on over the years in this ranking video, and I need to reflect on that. I need to think deeper and harder about what is it about this season people like so much. I have said time and time again, I think it's boring and it should be in the bottom 15, but I have thought about it. I have taken time to think about it and to really digest what is the deeper meaning? Where am I really getting at when I say the season is ranked too high? And for that, I have one word: boring. Survivor San Juan del Sur scores an 82.5. Number 19, Season 32 Ko Rong feels like the end of an era in a way. It's the last season to be filmed in somewhere other than Fiji. It features legit villains that the show doesn't try and hide, and it doesn't stuff the game with advantages that confuses audiences. The cast is solid, the storyline is good, and the intensity of what this cast is going through makes for compelling TV. It's a season that I would recommend to a lot of people as a first season to set a good baseline for what to expect from the show in general. Survivor Ko Rong scores an 83.3. Number 18, Season 1 Borneo is so hard to compare to everything else here. The cast literally had no idea what they were getting into and had to make it up on the go. The style goes from feeling cinematic, which is what the other seasons are kind of filmed like, whereas in this season, it's more like a documentary. And if it weren't for an excellent cast of characters, the season would be dull. I mean, so many production decisions this season would not fly today, but the cast of 16 players are so entertaining that it more than makes up for it. It feels raw and authentic and answers the question of what does a pure Survivor season look like when no one knows what's going to happen next. Survivor Borneo scores an 83.6. Now we move on to Love at First Watch. Number 17, Survivor 46 took everything Survivor 45 did and made it better. How? In my opinion, even better casting. There are so many memorable players. The only thing dragging the season down in my mind is the first 4 episodes are kind of a slog to get through. It reminds me a bit of Vanuatu in that way, and the overt focus on one player and their complete meltdown as a human, it's painful to watch. Thankfully, with episode 5 and beyond, this season is top tier and even has a controversial finish that people still talk about to this day. While it is not the highest rated New Era season in this video, it's the highest rated New Era season in my heart. Survivor 46 scores an 86.8. Number 16, Survivor 47 takes the crown from 46 as the best New Era season as voted on by you all. And look how close that was. It barely did it. It has a solid story from top to bottom, compelling characters, some fun gameplay, and has a moment that came so close to someone just getting ripped into the ocean, Three Stooges style. I can't stop thinking about it. What if they had just held on and not let go? Once you see it, you'll know what I mean. Would they be on the bottom of the ocean right now? Well, we could talk about it over some Italian food. Survivor 47 scores an 87.7. Number 15, Season 12, Exile Island reminds me of Survivor 44. Is the end result predictable? Yes. Is the gameplay fun to watch? Not really. But the characters single-handedly make the season for so many fans, and the cast is top heavy. You have underdogs, growth arcs, rivalries, goofballs, and crazy villains, and there's one tribe where every single scene where we see them, they're just fighting. And it's like the goofiest, stupidest fighting you've ever seen. You're like, how is this tribe real? There's no way. I think the season is ugly to look at. Like, the location isn't great, even though it's the 3rd time they've been here. But the rewatch of the season is where the value lies, as you start finding yourself looking forward to certain moments and quoting certain lines. And how have I not mentioned the big twist of this season? The season-long Exile Island that one player is forced to live at for almost every episode, along with a super hidden immunity idol that can be played after the votes have been read. Survivor Exile Island scores an 88.4. Number 14, Season 33, Millennials vs. Gen X is such a dumb idea on its face, especially when the host loves the idea of constantly comparing the generations in a time when everyone online was trying to blame millennials for ruining the world. It is the old versus young twist of Nicaragua, but better and more balanced. After a while, the generational difference goes away and we get a good season of the show with a solid story and a generally fun-loving feel. I also love how one player after the season goes on to help cast a bunch of people onto the show, and this sets off Jeff Probst so much. He's like so mad at this one player. Check out my Secrets of Survivor 45 video for all the details. It's quite juicy. Survivor Millennials vs. Gen X scores an 88.8. Number 13, Season 27, Blood vs. Water is very interesting. Only one season after the show screws up Fans vs. Favorites 2, they decide to essentially retry that and do an unofficial Fans vs. Favorites 3. I mean, it's like they hit the retry button. They're like, all right, let's do that again. Let's run it back. Only this time, the fans are relatives of the returning favorite players, and wow, what a brilliant idea. Casting makes or breaks this show. And unlike in San Juan del Sur, I mean, gosh, what a boring season that is. This time it works brilliantly since we are already invested in these favorites, and the return of Redemption Island works its best here with all the built-in family drama and us already knowing half of the players. Not only does this format shed a new light on people we know, but it adds constant drama and the thought that maybe, just maybe, someone could vote out their own mother. But we know only a hardened criminal would commit such an act. Survivor Blood vs. Water scores an 89.0. Number 12, Forget You, Go Home, Goodbye. Season 17 Gabon ages like fine wine, and the more time that passes, the more people understand that this is a beautiful train wreck. Just look how far it has shot up the rankings these past few years. Gabon takes place in Africa, albeit in a different part than Season 3, and for the first time the show is in high definition. It's not strategic, it's strictly personal. So many decisions are made on emotions and not logic, and that only makes it more entertaining for us. If you're looking for top tier gameplay, look elsewhere. If you're looking for a season of chaos that made the host want to quit the show forever, then this is the one for you. Let me read you something verbatim that happens, and this is not a spoiler, so no worries. Quote, Tyler Ramsey, the producer of Survivor Gabon, recently revealed that he was fired from the competition show for falling in love. Ramsey opened up to Nylon magazine to explain how he met his future wife, a player on the season that I'm not going to spoil for you all, and subsequently got fired. Ramsey told the magazine, I had never been fired before, so I thought if I'm going to get fired, I'm going to start an international incident. So I disappeared into the jungle, but after like 2 days, I had to come out for more alcohol. End quote. Yep, that's all real and very much on brand for this season. Gabon is another season that only gets better on rewatches, and so it scores an 89.1. Number 11, season 25 Philippines Sea Survivor go to the Philippines. I know, what an unexpected blindside after reading the name of the season, but it is the first time they ever go there, and man, is it a sight for sore eyes after the past few seasons. This season brings back 3 players who were medically evacuated in the prior seasons. Are they good at Survivor? Not really, but that's actually what makes this work. 3 big characters mixed in with 15 new players causes a memorable season full of twists and turns, and me learning that if I win $1 million, then I need to know it's only 600 grand after Obama takes his cut. Who knew Survivor would teach me about finances and taxes? In all seriousness, it's a great season that scores a 91.3. Number 10, season 13 Cook Island shouldn't have worked. I mean, it's 4 tribes divided by race, and it got the show almost canceled, and they did lose a lot of sponsors in the process, but it was a home run regardless. Heck, Survivor has lasted 37 more seasons as of the time of me recording this video, so clearly it worked out. Let's think about it. They divided everyone by race and stereotypes. Do you think that would have flown today? No way. There is even a love story this season that takes place here that so many fans still to this day talk about almost as much as Boston Rob and Amber. These players made it work and caused one of the best seasons top to bottom, full of intrigue, drama, and a very close finish that has people still debating who should have won it all. Survivor Cook Island scores a 93.9. Number 9, season 18 Tocantins did something not many seasons dared to do post All-Stars. Have 16 players on 2 tribes with no tribe swaps and basically no idols. I mean, this is about as close to a classic season as you can get, and it's in HD. The casting swung for the fences here on some risky players, and man, did it pay off big time. We see one of the best winter games of all times, underdogs, morons, and one dragon-slaying soccer coach. That's going to make a lot more sense after you see it. If this were my personal list, this season would be in my top 5. Survivor Tocantins scores a 98.9. Now we move on to the best of the best, the cream of the crop. Number 8, season 40 Winners at War means obviously spoilers. The entire cast are winners. I encourage you to skip to number 7 to avoid potentially seeing any spoilers. Okay, that was your last chance. Believe it or not, they did it. They got 20 winners on one season to compete for $2 million. The largest cash prize this show has ever seen. The casting is great, even though most of us wish that the prior season, Island of the Idols, hadn't screwed up the return of one certain winner that definitely should have been here. And just imagine how much better all would have been if they didn't overstuff the season with advantages and twists. It was clearly a precursor in many ways to the new era of the show, but season 40 thrives on its characters and hurts when production seemingly throws twists in kind of haphazardly. I only wish this season had been the season to kick off the longer episodes we now have, because it would have benefited greatly from it. Thankfully, it all works out and makes for epic TV. You may be excited hearing all of this, but watching this season does spoil about like half of the entire show run, and I would hold off as it would be well worth it. Patience is a virtue, and this is a season to watch after having watched seasons 1 through 38. Feel free to skip 39. No one wants to eat that turd, and also that winner's on the season anyways. Survivor Winners at War scores a 100.2. Number 7, season 15 China has me wishing Survivor had made the jump to HD here instead of 1 year later in Gabon. China is a wonderful location, and the culture oozes into everything Survivor does this season, that in a way it feels like a love letter. The location is stunning, and the theme is leaned into so hard it's impossible to forget this one. The show felt fun again after the drab, boring, unfun mess of season 14. Fiji, add on a cast of almost all villains, lots of fun gameplay, drama for days, and you get a season of the show people will always recommend to others to watch. Survivor China scores a 102.5. Number 6, season 7 Pearl Islands is all about pirates. The theme permeates everything like China and causes many creative decisions that help the season and narrative, even when they shouldn't have. And I need to stress that there are some dumb choices here made by the show, and yet it all works out. Did they have a 4-leaf clover shoved right up their butt? I mean, there were so many dumb decisions. How did it work? Oh my gosh. I mean, dumb luck can be fun like that. The characters here are larger than life. The opening task is crazy to give the players that kind of freedom, and everything just oozes fun from beginning to end. It's like the show is swinging for the fences and they hit a grand slam. Survivor Pearl Island scores a 104.3. Number 5, season 31 Cambodia features an entire cast of people who never won and were voted on by the fans to get a second chance. Skip to number 4 if you don't want to see any spoilers on this one. After a very middling Worlds Apart season, people were glad to see the show finally give us a chance to pick the cast. Kind of. I mean, it falls apart the more you think about it, but it works. The theme creates a good cast and they all came to play. Cambodia itself is beautiful. A lot of good creative ideas are implemented this season. Strategy takes a big step forward in a way that is good and bad for the future of the show. And the storyline works as a follow-up to so many stories that had happened on past seasons. Survivor Cambodia scores a 105.1. Number 4, season 16 Micronesia is the original fans versus favorites, and despite the questionable nature of calling these fans, pretty much everyone is a big character and everyone comes to play. There are many twists and turns, though most are due to unpredictable events that the show has to try and adjust to, and one big strategic play that people still talk about to this day. That strategic play is so big, the moment it happens, you're likely to Google like what other people think about it, because you're just like, there's no way. Watching seasons 12 to 15 prior to this season makes it all the more sweeter as a payoff to so many storylines, so Survivor Micronesia scores a 107.6. Number 3, season 37 David vs. Goliath finally cracks the top 3 and takes a podium spot. Well deserved, I might add. And to think, this season wasn't even supposed to be good. Rumor has it that production thought this would be a mid-season that the fans wouldn't care about, and instead hyped up season 38 Edge of Extinction, which landed at number 31 on this list. Now, you heard me, I like Edge of Extinction, but it's kind of like when Disney thought Pocahontas would be the better movie over The Lion King. Sometimes the people in charge just don't know what the average Joe wants. The average Joe wants David vs. Goliath, let's put it that way. In a shocking turn of events, by having no crap twist that plague everything and just picking a theme that makes sense for casting, unlike some others, you can have an excellent season. Casting nailed it here, and you can tell. Look at the Survivor 50 cast. 3 of those players are from this season alone. If it were up to me and I made a list, which I will one day, this will land in the top 5, guaranteed. Survivor David vs. Goliath scores a 113.8. Number 2, season 28 Cagayan is great and it has only aged better with time. Do I have to speak llama to you to make this make sense? Not to take away from the brains, brawn, and beauty of it all, but Cagayan drops a shark into the tank and they didn't even know they did it until it was too late. It's kind of like that high school running back thing I talked about during Samoa. This time, there's like multiple running backs. I don't know how to explain it, but one of them's better than them all. The results of this season literally sends tidal waves that affect the show to this day, and that isn't to mention the phenomenal casting, storytelling, and choices by production that somehow worked and created one of the best seasons of all time. Survivor Cagayan scores a 121.7. Number 1. I mean, you all saw this one coming. Season 20 Heroes vs. Villains is an all-returning season that only lands this high due to how many past seasons and storylines it connects to. It works well on its own, and you might notice that theme. The best returning seasons are the ones that wrap up and extend or end a lot of storylines of people we care about. There are so many layers to this season. Like, it's insane. The more I rewatch it, the more things I connect the dots on. Watching seasons 2 through 19 makes the season perfect. It's the ultimate payoff. Everything about the season works. The show basically picked the perfect cast to return, and by staying mostly out of the way and just letting them play and not adding in dumb twists, the season shines. Survivor Heroes vs. Villains scores a 133.9. So I want to know, do you agree with these rankings? Did the fans get it right or wrong? Make sure to vote when we do the 2026 rankings after Survivor 50 airs. Thanks for watching, and doubly thanks for liking and subscribing. I'll see you all next time.